it is time to talk about the Dual Rule project again. And the first thing I want to do is apologize that there was no update video last month. Neither me nor Matilda made one, because it had just been a lot that month, and that week especially was, a lot. So, we didn't do that, but we are doing it now. Almost not, because the past few days have been chaotic, to say the least. Let's not talk about that. We're going to talk about the Dual Rule project. In the update 2 months ago, I told you that I was going to read through my part of the story, the part that I had written before that live stream, which I did, and I wrote down a few things that needed to be changed. Quite a few things that needed to be changed. In that live stream, we had some really good discussions. I'm gonna have to look at my notes because I don't remember them because it's been a while now. But in the live stream in June, we talked about. We decided that Lid and Neum are going to meet up earlier. They're going to meet up right before the electricity trial instead of right before the water trial, because that gives them a bit more time to get to know each other and build some trust before they have to trust each other. I think I mentioned that in my update video as well, but we decided that that's going to happen. We also decided a little detail about shapeshifters, and that they make their clothing out of hair, fur, feathers from themselves and or friends and family, because that way their clothes will shift with them. If they wear clothes that are made from some other material, then the clothes won't shift with them, and then they will be naked when they shift back. So that was a fun detail we did. We also talked about the ruler giving out some, or giving out. The ruler's not giving out anything. The ruler is putting out rumors about evil people that are out to usurp his throne and stuff like that. When it becomes obvious to him that that Lid and Neum might actually finish the quest and challenge him, he tries to put out these rumors to make sure that the people are on his side and not these evil usurpers' sides, which I think will maybe partially backfire a bit, because he hasn't exactly made himself popular, so maybe there are some people, probably not everyone, but some people that actually decide that, yeah, no, we're gonna go with the usurpers instead because you're evil, and yeah. We also gave a little bit more authority to archivists in general, because we decided that archivists are seen as people who know a lot of things because they keep all the knowledge from past times. And since traditions are important in this culture, then yeah, it makes sense that archivists are respected. And we also decided that they have a reputation. They have a reputation about them that they are honest and they give you facts, which is going to be very good when we need someone to tell the world about the fact that there's supposed to be 2 rulers, because now we have archivists who can do that and people will trust them. Again, maybe not everyone, but they'll be more likely to be trusted than just a random person. Anyway, that was mostly that. We also talked a little bit about themes and content warnings, because I needed that for a thing that we'll see when I actually do that thing. But anyway, the month after, our plan was to read through our own parts of the story and make notes on things that needed to be changed. So basically the things that I did up until the live stream in June. So, I didn't really need to do much that month, which is good, because I also didn't do much that month being July. Now, I started rewriting a little bit, which was going to be the next step, but I only got like 5 pages in or so, and I'm not overly happy with those pages, because it feels like things are going very, very slowly. It's a very slow start. The action hasn't even really started yet, and I just feel like the action should be a little bit quicker to come. So I need to work on that. And then came the live stream in July, which was incredibly chaotic. Again, we did not put up any update videos that month, and also I forgot to schedule the stream. I think I scheduled it like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live, and so we didn't have a lot of audience. We had one person that showed up after an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. So thank you very much, Brianna, for being there. We needed you. We were talking about melons and temples made out of melons when she came in, so we really needed someone to come and help us get back on track a little bit. The temples are not made of melons. They're not made of any kind of fruit or vegetable or anything like that. We did mostly talk about religion in that live stream because we needed more detail on the religion. And we talked about the core of the religion, which for anyone who has seen my world building religion and fantasy video, you know that I feel pretty strongly that you need to know the core of the religion. And in our case, the core of the religion is isolation from the point of view of the gods, because the gods want to isolate themselves and these people from the rest of the world. But that's not a thing that they really tell people that they want to do, because that sounds a lot like imprisonment, which we're going to talk about. So the core of the religion for the worshippers is tradition and, doing things like you've always done them, not trying new things and stuff like that, and also respect towards nature, which makes a lot of sense because the gods are elementals. They represent the 7 elements, and obviously you need to respect them. We also talked about the religion in relation to the shapeshifters, because when the shapeshifters were driven off the mainland a couple hundred years ago, they were going to leave. They got in ships, or I don't know, they swam. I don't know exactly what they did, but they tried to leave. But the gods didn't let them, so they were stuck on the shapeshifter archipelago that they live in now, because they couldn't get any further. And so basically that's when they realized that the gods, or at least someone, are keeping us prisoner here, which is not a great thing. So for the shapeshifters, at least the ones that live on the archipelago, maybe not the ones on the mainland, I don't know, but they basically think of the gods as evil, because the gods are their prison guards. They're not taking care of them, they're just keeping them prisoner. So that's really fun, especially for Lyd when she gets her powers and realizes that she has been chosen by these evil gods, and not only that, but basically they have said that do as we want you to do, otherwise you will die in 2 months. So yeah, that's fun. And that was basically that live stream, and then since then, after that live stream now in August, we were supposed to start rewriting our own parts of the story, and that has not been done a whole lot. I think I may have gotten 7 pages in instead of 5, so there's that. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of work on this story, unfortunately. And I think part of the reason why I haven't gotten much further is that, again, like I said earlier, I feel like this is a very slow beginning. I'm, like I said, probably 7 pages in, and Niam is still in the capital, and I guess technically that's fine, but nothing has happened. He's gotten his powers, but now he's just wallowing and being like, oh my god, what is happening? Am I cursed? What's going on? Woe is me. And so I've struggled a little bit with that, but I think I maybe have come up with a solution, because I'm thinking that right now, or one of the last things that I wrote was the beginning of a conversation that is going to make Niam start to think that, oh, maybe these powers that I have is not a curse. Maybe it's related to the quest, and I'm supposed to do the quest, and maybe I'm related to the royal family, or what's going on. Basically, it's going to be a spark for him to try to do something instead of just being scared. I wrote that, and then I was like, but maybe he doesn't need to... Because what I was thinking was that, no, he needs to figure this out sooner. This needs to happen a lot earlier, so that he can start doing things and acting instead of reacting and that whole thing. But then I realized that maybe it's actually okay for it to happen this late if something else exciting has happened. And I am thinking that maybe instead of him finding out or realizing that maybe this has to do with the quest and starting to do the research and plan and all that. Maybe someone figures out earlier that he has these powers, someone being his friend who's going to betray him, and she figures that out and she sends the guards to get him, and he runs away from the guards, and he actually has to leave the capital without knowing anything or having any plans or anything like that. And then on the outside, he hears this conversation about, the conversation is supposed to be about, like, do we believe that the current heir is going to manage the quest? No, I don't believe so. They have this useless power. Yeah, but what about, like, having that conversation and Neum hearing it and being like, waking up with a power, maybe that's what's going on. And I kind of like this partially because it puts him very, very far outside of his comfort zone. He has never been outside of the capital before, or if he has, it's been like, yeah, on a day trip just to see some trees. And he is the kind of person who, before doing anything, he would do a lot of research. He would plan. He would have all of that figured out. But if I throw him out of the capital and then he has absolutely nothing to start his journey, that I think that would put him further out of his comfort zone, which would be more interesting to read, I think. And it also contrasts with Lyd, who has the time and ability and resources to plan out her trip at least a little bit more. Actually, she has the resources to plan it out a lot more, and she has her mother, who is of royal descent and so knows a little bit more about this. And like, if Lyd has the opportunity to plan, maybe Neum should not have the opportunity to plan at all. Since we haven't done a whole lot this month, we don't have a long list of things we need to talk about on Saturday for the live stream, but I'm sure we will figure that out. The live stream is scheduled on Matilda's channel, and it's linked down below, so you can go there and click the little remind me button or whatever it's called. I will say that there is a caveat that both me and Matilda are getting our second shot on Friday, so Saturday might not be good for streaming. After the first shot of the vaccine, I slept the entire day after, so if that happens again, I'm probably not going to want to stream. So there is a risk that the stream is not going to happen, and if it doesn't, we will let you know in the Discord. Maybe we will edit the stream to say that it's cancelled. We'll figure it out. Just beware that it might not happen. Hopefully it does, and hopefully we will see you on Saturday, and if so, that'll be fun, and I'm looking forward to it. See you then.